All right, so this video we're talking about what we're doing on Tuesday, 10/17. So these are some applications, meaning word problems related to fractions to percents and percents to fractions. Okay, so it's building on the same skills from yesterday, 10/16, but it's going to apply them to different situations. Okay, so instructions here. Make sure you turn in your work on Canvas. It actually shows your work, not just your answers. And each problem should include the ratio in words. Okay, that would be this video. I'm explaining this. So you either need to write part over whole or something more specific, because remember that a percent is a ratio that is a part out of the whole, which is 100. So you can always write it as part over whole, or you can be more specific. Okay, do that before you write the numbers. All right, so some of these are pretty straightforward. So, for example, on this one, number one, the weatherman predicted the weather correctly 11 out of 20 days. What percentage of the time was he correct? So, when you're seeing what I'm saying with you could do either part or whole or something more specific. So, you could write part over whole, and you could do that actually on all of them pretty much on this paper. However, you also could write and then do 11 out of 20 and then make it a percent, right? And then the percent's going to be whatever out of 100. You show what you multiplied by, and then the answer on the top right there is going to be the percent, right? Now, you could have, the point I'm saying here with this instruction here is that instead of writing part over whole, you actually could also have written, let's see, he is correct, all right, the days he was correct out of the whole or out of the total days, right? You could have written something like that also, and that would be perfectly fine. Okay. So that's my point with this instruction about you either need part or whole or some other more specific wording. That works fine too. All right. Beware of numbers that don't matter for the problems too. So, like on number two here, you have several numbers, but the question's asking what percentage of the students are A's. So you just got to come up with the fraction that are A's, right? This many are A's out of this many total, and write that down and then make it a percent. Right now, some of the questions are reversed. So, like number three here, water covers approximately 75% of Earth's surface. What fraction is the same as that? So you could still go with part over whole, right? And then 75% means you put it over 100 and then you just reduce it. So you divide it by something, right? Or you could have written, again, what I mean by the wording can be either that way or it could be this way, right? So it could be the way I just showed you, or it could be water over total or over all the earth or the whole or whatever. Okay, so either way works. All right, now let's look at a couple of the more complex ones here. Those are all pretty straightforward. Okay, so on number 8, I've given you a multi-part Harry Potter question. I like Harry Potter. So Hermione's a loyal friend. A certain fraction of time, Ron's a loyal friend. This amount of time. So you got pretty straightforward on A and B, the percent that they are a loyal friend. And then you're looking for the fraction percent of how much more of the time Hermione is loyal. So think of how much more, what does that tell you to do? Example, if I say that Mr. Carter has $20 and Chloe has $10, how much more does Mr. Carter have? Well, what would you do to figure that out? Right? That's the same question there. Right? And so you just do it. You can either do the percent first or the fraction first. I'd probably do the percent first because you're going to have the percents for A and B. Right? Number 9, out of 80 Slytherins, Harry Potter guesses 72 will end up following you know who. What percent? Now, this one is going to be a little more complicated because the denominator 80 is not a factor of 100. This one, I'm wanting you to apply some skills that you learn with unit rates, for example. Don't find a unit rate, but you know how we would reduce it down to the unit rate and then find something else. So here, simplify the fraction first. Then you will have a denominator that is a factor of 100, and then you can scale up by multiplying by something. Okay, you can do it. Number 10, Abigail, Sabian, and Jacob planted a vegetable and flower garden, sold the produce of the garden. They agreed to share the profits as follows. Abigail got 2 fifths, Sabian 1/4, and Jacob got the rest. What percent did Jacob get? So there are multiple ways of getting into this problem. I would recommend, so you could either, basically add up the fractions and then take them away from the whole. We've done that type before. Or now that you know how to make them in percents, you can make both of those percents, then take them away from the 100%. Either way works. I don't care, as long as you notice that it says what percent. So your answer needs to be the percent that Jacob's going to receive. All right. That is the questions for today. Hopefully those hints will help you out. If you do get stuck on, say, one problem or something, feel free to look at the answer video, but I would just say make sure you're doing your best to do as much as you can on your own.